A man goes to prison for killing his son, spends years behind bars, loses his wife, loses everything. And then someone shows him a photo from an amusement park, and his dead son is standing right there in the background. That's not the twist. That's just the beginning. Netflix's I Will Find You just dropped, and the ending, it goes places nobody saw coming. Let's break all of it down. This is the latest Harlan Coben adaptation on Netflix, and if you've seen The Stranger or Runaway, you already know the rules. Every character is hiding something. Every answer opens a new door, and just when you think you've got it figured out, you don't. The series follows David Burrows, played by Sam Worthington, convicted of murdering his own son, Matthew. Sentenced to life, no appeal, case closed. Then his ex-sister-in-law, Rachel, shows up at the prison. She's got a photo taken at Six Flags, and in the background is a boy, same face as Matthew, same birthmark on his cheek. David escapes prison. A mob boss gets involved. The FBI gets involved. And by the finale, there's a bloodbath at a country estate and a reveal that reframes the entire show. By the end of this video, you'll know who actually took Matthew, why they did it, what the mob really had to do with any of this, and what that final quiet moment between David and Rachel actually means. Let's get into it.
The prison break and the mob red herring. David doesn't wait around. He breaks out of prison with help from two people, his godfather Philip Mackenzie, who happens to be the prison warden, and Philip's son Adam, a Boston police detective and David's childhood friend. Now he's a fugitive. The FBI deploys a fugitive task force, agents Max Williams and Sarah Greer, to bring him in. And here's a detail the show hides until late. Max and Sarah aren't just partners, they're father and daughter. Meanwhile, David has locked onto a theory. The local mob boss, Nikki Fisher, is behind everything. And honestly, that's not an unreasonable conclusion. Nikki had been orchestrating attacks on David inside prison. His motive traces back to David's father, Lenny, a former prosecutor. Lenny had put away Nikki's son, Liam, who was later murdered in prison. Nikki blamed Lenny for Liam's death, claiming fabricated evidence sent Liam away when he should have walked free. So the mob threat is real. But Nikki draws a hard line. He tells David face to face he wanted revenge on Lenny, but he would never touch a child. The mob didn't take Matthew. The mob was an entirely separate
Hayden Payne and the fertility clinic. Rachel's ex-boyfriend is Hayden Payne, played by Milo Ventimiglia. Wealthy family, powerful connections, and completely obsessed with a child he was convinced was his biological son. Here's the actual chain of events. David and Cheryl, Matthew's mother, had been struggling to conceive. Desperate, Cheryl visited a fertility clinic. She didn't tell David, and she didn't use a stranger's sperm donation like she thought she was. Hayden had paid off the fertility doctor. He had his own sperm substituted in, without Cheryl's knowledge, without anyone's knowledge. And here's where it connects. Cheryl had checked into that clinic using Rachel's name for privacy. The clinic had ties to the Payne family's business empire. Hayden had access to those records. He saw Rachel's name. He put it together. When Rachel brought Hayden to the Burrows' 4th of July party years earlier, Hayden met Matthew. He felt an immediate connection. He became certain that boy is mine. So he made a plan. He sourced an orphan child through the Payne family's Swiss orphanage connections, a boy he believed would have died anyway, and he swapped him into Matthew's bed the night Matthew died. That's the child found dead, not Matthew. Matthew, now going by Theo, had been living with Hayden as his son for 5 years. But the plan had one more layer, and it was being controlled by someone even colder than Hayden.
The mother, the paternity test, and the real villain! Hayden's mother, Gertrude Payne, played by Madeline Stowe, helped run the cover-up from the start. She moved pieces, she buried the trail, and she kept one thing locked away from her own son. The paternity results. Gertrude actually had the test done. She knew whether Matthew was really Hayden's biological son, and she kept those results hidden because as long as Hayden believed Matthew was his, he stayed committed to the plan. He stayed loyal to the family. He stayed controllable. Let the coldness of that land. She used her own son's grief as a leash. When David and Rachel finally reach the Payne family estate, everything comes out. Matthew was there. He's been living as Theo. He's adjusted. He knows Hayden as a father figure. And even after the truth about the paternity results surfaces, Hayden refuses to let go. In his mind, Matthew is his son. Facts don't change that for him. The finale ends in what the showrunner called an absolute bloodbath. FBI agent Sarah Greer shoots through the estate security and takes down the season's central villain right in front of a child. No clean action.
The ending and what it actually means. Let's close the loops. Adam, David's childhood friend, the detective who helped him escape, turns out to have been working for Nikki the entire time. He was Nikki's inside man at the Boston Police Department. But the deal he made was to protect David. He fed Nikki information, and in exchange, Nikki agreed not to have David or Lenny killed. Adam played both sides to keep his friend alive. On the FBI side, Max retires. Sarah steps up and takes his position. Father and daughter end up working the same unit, the same dynamic, just with different titles. The show leaves that relationship in a warm place, which stands out given how brutal everything else gets. David is formally cleared of all charges. He walks free. Matthew reconnects with his biological family. Cheryl has since remarried and is expecting a new child. It is not a clean ending.
If this breakdown saved you a rewatch, subscribe! New Ending Explained dropping this week!
We'll see you there.